Okay guys, a little catch-up video. This is the big block Mopar M1. So pretty. The amount of time that went into this manifold is just stupid because of the amount of metal that needed to come out of it in order to get a decent taper on it was insane. I know we did a video on this manifold a while ago, and you could see how far off it was from the gasket. Well, the gasket's real close to the TFS 270s this is getting bolted to. So let's show you a couple of the ports and what I did to the dividers and so forth. The divider edge is done up with a 120 cartridge roll. Let's see if you guys can see that. It doesn't even look that smooth on camera. The floor was done very, very rough, and the walls have about the same texture as the ports have, and it is a pretty aggressive texture. I want that for a reason. Okay, the other two runners, that is the driver's side we're looking at. Okay, this is now the passenger side. Overall, it's a really nice manifold, right from the factory, even though the openings are on the small side. Remember, first video I did on it, I was surprised how close the flows were. 344 was our lowest, and our highest was 359.2. So, not too bad as far as discrepancy between runner and runner, but it was surprising to me that the center runners actually flowed less. Usually on manifolds designed like an X, the center two outflow the outers by far. Not the case in this. They paid attention to it. And I definitely thought it was surprising because look at how small a radius we have going into the outers. I wish there was more there we could do, but it is quite a low rise intake for such a high horsepower application. It does have to fit underneath a flat hood. Okay, last two runners, they all look pretty much the same, I would think, unless I missed the spot, which I tend to see when I put it on camera and take a look at it. This is pretty close to being finished. I have one runner that's a little bit low, but you guys can tell me whether I absolutely need to do any more work to it. Okay, the radiuses going into the center were changed, but not a huge difference, just trying to get the balance a little bit better. In order for me to change the balance, I change my radius a little bit, and I do work on our dividers. Okay, you can see the difference in the height of the runner and the radius on this corner. Okay, so what did we gain here? Stock. 359.2, 349.2, 344 our lowest, 356, 357.9, 351.7, 346.2, 356.2. Okay, first cut was huge. It was literally days worth of work. And we changed the opening size, we changed the taper, we did work in the plenum, and the entire thing got finished in the finish that I wanted it to be in. Okay, so we went from 359.2 to 424.4. Huge increase. In fact, that's our highest flowing runner. It was our highest flowing runner before, so it's not really surprising. Okay. 349.2 to 408.6. Decent sized difference between these two. 408.6 is our lowest. This is the one I'm thinking about doing some more work to, but after I did my balancing, it actually came out a little lower. So I need to think about that. 344 to 411.9, 356 to 410.1, 357.9 to 410.6, 351.7 to 409.1, 346.2 to 413.2, 356.6 to 420. It really, I probably could have got away with it just doing that. But I did a second cut trying to balance it. Was I successful? All right, that went down a touch. That went down a touch. That went up a touch, 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 up the tiniest amount. So, except for this runner, I think we're doing really, really well. Let me know in the comments, guys, whether you think I need to do any more work to that. I mean, it is possible I didn't give it the correct taper in the spot. The inside runners are really difficult to get, even with my 9-inch burr. And that is not the finish that I want it to be on there, so it's more difficult to get it completely finished the way I want to. I do think there is one or two spots in the roof that are with this burr. Okay, that is not the texture I really want, but it's 9 inches and I can get it in a little bit better and a little deeper. You know what I mean. What else we got to talk about, guys? This is actually just a catch-up video. We got to take this and bolt it onto the big block heads and see what kind of a difference it made. Now, Daniel Powell is going to do the cam for this, and Mopar Joe is going to build the engine together. Daniel Powell said we need 400 CFM for this engine. And I did the calculations. I don't disagree. But Darren Morgan just put out a couple new videos, really good, hour plus each. And somewhere in there he said 400 CFM is good for 900 horsepower. Of course he's talking about high RPM, high compression things, and this is going to be a street engine, but still, we're not shooting for 900 horsepower. I think this will do very well. I think it'll make a few more horsepower than Mopar Joe's 511 or 512 he did with the untouched trick flows and the trick flow intake that I helped him port via phone. That turned out really well. The dyno guys were like, wow, the thing plateaus over 700 foot-pounds through most of the curve. I think we're going to do better than that because we have a half-inch more arm. But our piston speed is getting up there. Part of what Darren was talking about was piston speed, and we are going to be kind of pushing it for a street ride with this. So it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.